Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Talking Skritt podcast, brought to you by Game Breaker Nation, a Guild Wars 2 podcast about everything that's happening in Guild Wars 2 inside and outside of the game. I'm your host, John, better known as Deo around Yaks Ben. We have a fantastic show for you today. Press events lead to hot news, closed beta for hot, and streaming in the game, not quite. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow co-host, a man who rocks a mean beret. Say hello to Jim.
I don't own a beret.
I think you should.
No.
If people were here for pre-show,
No.
I mean...
Hi, everybody. No.
I'm sure they can, definitely agree. Unfortunately, Roy had some prior engagements, but as always, a man that with every podcast just gets even more legendary. Say hello to Aaron. And I guess that would have been Roy's screen.
Any new... I don't have any new legendaries to speak of just yet, but...
I thought you did. I thought you got the great sword this...
Oh, did we not announce that on the show yet? Yeah,
I thought that was last week.
It was the week before last week that I got it. I got Sunrise February 22nd.
I like how you remember the exact day.
I have it in a notepad.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I have the start and stop dates for making them in Notepad, so I know how long it took.
Why?
I want to be able to... When I make my next one, I want to do it faster. I want to beat my old record.
That was the right amount of concern in the voice. Why would you do that?
Why is this a record thing?
No, I understand. Like, see if you can do it better.
Personal competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's get right into it. I think it was last week, right around this time, they had a bunch of prominent gamers, critics, journalists, some of the likes of Guild Wars 2 players probably know, Bog Otter, Aurora Peachy. I think Wooden Potatoes was in the European one since these.
Yeah, there were two events.
Yeah. And it was basically to preview the expansion content of basically what people were playing now at PAX East. And they also had, I believe, Jesse Cox, Angry Joe, and I think Tobuscus were three of the bigger, not as common Guild Wars 2 players, kind of inviting them back that, showed interest at the beginning. Can someone talk about maybe exactly what they got to play and how most of the people reacted to it?
So basically, they got treated to, a nice tour of the studio. They got to have some sit-down time with the devs, and most importantly, they got to play Heart of Thorns for a good chunk of time. And I believe the content they were treated to was a small section of the Heart of Thorns story and the Wyvern fight. And Wyvern, I say it Wyvern, okay? But
is that a big controversy? I wasn't aware.
I don't get when people say Wyvern. It might be the right way. I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
Well,
actually, Wyvern.
I remember at the beginning of, I think it was Bog Otter's video, where I think in the interview, a lot of the Guild Wars 2 developers called it Wyvern. But he even went to different dictionary sites and whatnot, and it was Wyvern, so
yeah.
Who knows?
Meh.
But yeah, that's what they got to play. As far as I could tell, everyone was playing a Revenant. I don't know if they could do other professions or not. I'm leaning towards not, because I don't think they want any of the specializations being revealed right now beyond the Druid. But yeah, who knows? They might have been able to. But as far as I could see, everyone was playing a Revenant.
I think in Wooden Potatoes' video, he said that they were locked to Revenant.
Yeah.
One, so.
Mm-hmm. And to me, the most interesting things to come out of this demo was the info on the mastery system, because they were allowed to view the mastery panel and a good chunk of the masteries that will be in Heart of Thorns. Yeah, so Carnifex in chat says Wooden Potatoes confirmed that they could only pick Revenant, so everyone was a Revenant. But the info they came out with on the mastery system was really good. In particular, I wanted to point out Richie Procopio's video on the mastery system, because he covered it really well. He showed all the different panels with all the different tiers in each mastery line. He showed how you can select each mastery line to start training it. It was really comprehensive. I was a little miffed that he didn't go into a little more detail on the precursor crafting mastery, because that was the one I was most interested in. But there was a lot of interesting info on the other Heart of Thorns mastery lines that everyone else is probably more interested in. I'm just weird. So yeah, I was really pleased.
Crafting done.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the info that came out on the mastery system from this demo, because that was kind of the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, it actually kind of points out 3 of the races or groups that we'll be dealing with. We don't know if all these are the exact names. Like, we kind of went back and forth on, there's one called the Exalted, which seemed like these are those, if you remember back in the trailer that they showed for Heart of Thorns, these are those Mersat-looking things, I believe, because they reference a golden city and whatnot. Or it could be, if these are Mersat, these could be the White Mantle people. Like, maybe these are the elite White Mantle people, the Exalted. We don't know 100% for sure. They also talk about the Itzel and the Newhawk. I would probably butcher that.
Yeah.
Name.
Yeah, like, I thought it was interesting how in their article on the Mastery system they released way back in January, ArenaNet went like, yeah, we have this new race, the Itzel. And I was like, oh, that's going to be, the new thing. But apparently there's other new races tied to the Mastery system as well. So, and they use the term new race in that article, but I think they mean like new sub race, because I'm pretty sure they're already in the same class as like the Hylic and the Hecate, which are already pretty much the same thing. So they're the frog people. For anyone
I think they're
know.
a different tribe, as it's referencing like this tribe.
Yeah.
This, so.
And everyone's making the toad frog comparison between the Itzel and the Hylic, and I'm like, dude, they're frog people. Listen. But the Exalted thing was really interesting, how I believe it's the Mastery tier with the blue icons. When you mouse over each of them, it shows the race that you'll be affiliating with being named the Exalted, and nobody knows what that means. A popular theory is that they're, like John said, that they're going to be the Mersat-esque beings we saw in the trailer. But we don't know if they're actually, Mersat or not. One theory I had was that this is simply, and I discussed this with a few other people and they kind of agreed with me, is that this could potentially be a placeholder name that they stuck in the demo just so people wouldn't know whether or not they were the Mersat for certain. Like, when the game comes out, this could be renamed as the Mersat, if that's what those are. But this could have just been a placeholder name that they stuck in for the demo, so as not to reveal those details at this time.
Now, I think I remember hearing in Richie Procopio's interview, or talking about the Masteries. Basically, at the very beginning, you're not going to be able to master like all these 100%. Like, eventually, you'll probably get the majority of them through playing the whole thing. How do you guys feel that's going to split the community too much, or what's your opinion?
Wait, so he said, I didn't catch that in his video. He said that we won't be able to max out every single mastery.
Well, I think he said at the very beginning, but then he actually said you'll probably get the majority of them. I think maybe he was saying in reference to like kind of easily, but if you're probably going to have to do a lot of content, work hard to get probably perfection and all. But
so it won't be easy to max everything out, but
yes,
you will
what
get
it
like
seemed like
60-70% of it doing just content as you run in, and then you'll have to do like the Metroidvania kind of stuff where you unlock certain abilities and then you find more stuff and then you go from there.
I thought what you meant was that we wouldn't be able to get all the masteries, and I was like, that doesn't seem good.
No, I would be the first one going, no, especially because it's account bound.
But yeah,
that's the important thing to remember. You can't be like, oh, kind of like World v. World, where your points are account bound, but you can go, oh, well, this guy's going to be my Exalted lore guy. This guy's going to be my Itzel lore person. I don't think that's the method. It's everybody, it shares on the account.
Well, for World v. World, you can technically get everything eventually, right?
Oh yeah,
you keep ranking up, but
I think you'd need less than 1,000 rank points to get everything to max in World v World. Either less than 1,000 or slightly more. But
I mean,
all
the difference
people,
is you can have a character that specializes in things
Right.
going on, unlike
Like-
this system.
like if you see a person in WW who's like a gold colonel or something, they probably have all their things maxed out. But one thing I wanted to kind of point out was, and hats off to Richie Procopio's coverage of the Mastery system, by the way. It's pretty much the best of all the press. He asked a lot of Mastery questions in his interview with Colin Johansson, and one of the ones he asked was, how is the progression in the Mastery system we see here in the demo going to be different from the progression we see in the actual game? And it goes back to what John was saying earlier. They said they dumbed down the progression quite a bit for the demo, just so people would be able to actually experience things. They made it so you could unlock hang gliding right away so that the press could actually use the hang gliding. But in the actual game, when they release it, everything's going to take much longer to earn. It's going to be much harder to progress. So just because you see all these things like maybe looking a little easy in the press videos, don't be fooled. They'll still be challenging and difficult and grindy when the game comes out. Yes, grindy. They will be grindy. Don't think they won't.
I'm not really looking at it as grindy, as in, I like you like your chest farming. I like doing the actual defense events in the silver waste. So if I'm getting mastery points and stuff, just defending these strongholds that they talked about, I'm not going to see it as a grind because I'm doing something already and like, oh hey, boom, another mastery.
Yeah,
I do like for the access to the Golden City thing. I like the concept of how they're presenting new hubs that you can pick. So I'm going to assume that there are also ITSL services. So you might have access to, I don't know, Mystic Forge somewhere else.
My guess would be, so this kind of, what you just said kind of ties into my speculation on how large the map area is going to be for this expansion. My initial guess for that is 3 to 5 zones. Keep in mind these zones are going to be 3 layers, so they're effectively going to be 3 times the size. So we could be getting as much as 15 zones worth of content in this expansion. But if we do get 3 to 5 zones, this is all speculation, by the way, nothing's confirmed. But let's just say we're going to get 3 to 5 zones. With what you just said, maybe we get a new hub area for each zone. That would be pretty cool. I'd like to see that. Maybe tied to a different race in each zone or something.
Well, and that's definitely what it seems like in those, like the Exalted one. Eventually, it says you get the access to the Golden City. Now each of them seem like every day you have, it's every day. You can fight their champion and get special loot reward. How do you guys feel about, like, it depends on how they go about it. Is it going to be like, I can invite my friends to help me do this, or is this city locked off to them because they don't have access to it yet? Like, I don't see Arena doing that because they've very much been the type of person, like, even if you're not doing guild missions with a guild, if you see them doing their event, you still get event credit, not the special credit.
I'm assuming this fight with their champion will be a one-on-one fight, like the ones you see in the Queen's Gauntlet. I don't have a problem with it. It's another daily that at the end of the day I'm probably going to forget about. Like, I do my dailies sometimes, and because they suck now. And the one thing I always go back to when discussing daily things that you can do is that Maudry and the Star of Gratitude that we use to break down ascended materials into actually like things we can use. I have the Star of Gratitude. I haven't bothered with Maudry, and I'm glad I didn't, because I don't use the Star of Gratitude, even though I have it. It's a day you can use it like 4 or 5 times a day to get these little gifts out of your Imperial fragments, and I don't use it because it's just the reward isn't good enough. So it all depends on what the reward for fighting these champions is going to be to make people do it every day. And if it's not anything special, then I'm probably not going to bother.
Well, I mean, what would make it special enough? Special unique skins, maybe special recipes for crafting disciplines? Or?
That was my first thought, is that, a unique champion bag that has a % chance to drop weapon skins, armor skins, recipes. I mean, mini pets for people who collect mini pets. I mean, that's honestly one of the best things to do with it. And it's, you gain access to it through a mastery tier, and then you have time gating. So it's not like a super ridiculous time gate kind of like crafting is. I know you have a lot to say about that, Aaron, but
not today. Don't worry.
But I mean that's
definitely putting in mini pets will be great for when they add the certain
if they ever do that.
Yeah, like hopefully soon.
I like how you said for when they add it, like it's going to happen, guys.
Yes, they're.
Yes, just like the Blizzard devs are adding in the dance studio for WoW.
But I think there's two ways they're going to reward you for this fight. One is the one Jim just said, where they'll give you a nice, unique bag. They like doing stuff like that. Or they'll give you tokens toward a rewards merchant. Those are probably the two ways they'll reward you for this. You probably get like a mastery point for it your first time doing it.
And I see someone in chat saying it could be very popular with, like, you know, how World Boss, you know, train and stuff. But they do say, you know, it can be very popular if it's on the timer. I don't know. When I read it, it seemed like you went to activate it. But especially since they refer to it as their champion, like if you remember the story with the Hylic, if you helped the Hylic during your personal story, they had a champion like that. So it wasn't like an enemy to them in that sense. So I couldn't see them like just appearing on rotation. It almost sounds like, in a way, go to your home instance and activate this, but in a town.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a solo thing you activate. And I mean, you could do it your own little choo-choo train for the mastery champions, but I don't know. Well, it just depends on how good the loots is.
And you guys are talking about, you know, it being locked out to other people. I mean, if you can't access a map, and there are plenty of skill point challenges that are defeat someone. I mean, when we were running Codicus Manor all the time for Tavok to get Moot, how many times did we fight the Carnival Strongman there? I mean, every time we started the dungeon, we, you know, activated that skill challenge, and we, you know, destroyed him. And it was like, I can totally see this being something similar, where it's just an area that somebody activates the fight.
Those aren't gated by mastery points, though. This is.
But I mean,
the zone is gated by mastery points, and the fight is as well. But that's part of the gating.
Well, and that's why I was thinking, I could definitely see them going the route of like they do, like you're saying, they do for skill challenges, they do for guild events, where if you're not part of that guild or you're not doing that skill challenge, you don't get the skill point or the guild, you know, chest reward. You'll get regular event credit. So in this sense, that person that activated it, and maybe anybody else that has that mastery rank unlocked, if you haven't done it that day, you get your defeat of the exalted champion boss, you know. But if you aren't in that, don't have that rank, or you're just passing through and you see an event, I think you'll just get regular event credit. That's how I would imagine they would do it based on the past. But
right. Well, I'm honestly, like, when you guys said, you know, like the Queen's Pavilion bosses, I would love that. I liked the Queen's Pavilion. I didn't beat it, but I still have, I think, a stack and a half of tickets sitting in my bank for when it rolls around again. But I enjoyed it, and I would like it to be like that. But it's possible that it might just be an event that someone triggers, and you can just kind of walk past and help with it. So,
like, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of conflicted on what it's going to be, because Guild Wars and, you know, ArenaNet, they're all about play together and play with your friends. And
when you see another player, you shouldn't be worried. You should be happy to see other players.
But at the same time, the mastery system is kind of like, you know, this is your new personal progression to show how much you've grown as a character. So in that sense, I could see them making it like a solo one-on-one arena fight. But, you know, putting solo stuff into MMOs isn't really great. So I don't know.
Well, I think that's why they have it capped at once a day. Like, I think that's why they've said it as, if they do it as a personal thing, you get it once per day, and then you're done. So you're not constantly sitting there grinding out one fight. So
it would be interesting if, like, there was maybe if the higher mastery points, like, you could personally challenge the champion for maybe better loot. It's just, my worry is, if I'm working that hard to get, like, for the Exalted one, it's 10 mastery points. I don't know exactly how hard it is, but I would imagine it'd be somewhat difficult, since there's only one rank, as we can see, after it. If I'm putting that much effort into it, part of me wants to know that I can at least utilize it. And I'm not a fan of during the Queen's Gauntlet and the Crown Pavilion stuff where it was like use this build to defeat what was it, Leodry?
Leodry.
And like that was the way to do it. No other way, don't bother mentality. It wasn't the only way, but that's all you heard.
Screw you, Leodry. I hate you so much. Dude,
well, I remember the blog post on it, and they said that we realized that some of these fights will be very difficult for certain professions with certain builds, and we're okay with that because everything with it was account bound. So you literally have to use your entire stable of characters to get through it in the way you play. So that's probably for the best.
I mean, and they might take that mentality, and I'm fine with it being difficult. It's a fine line because I agree that like you should be able to play with your friends if you want to in this stuff, but I don't want it out in the middle of the town where someone can just be standing there AFK and scale it up and just basically screw me out of my day. Like, I don't know if you lose it, like you only get one shot. I doubt it, but we don't know. I mean,
that doesn't mean it might not change by the time they release. So
yeah, I don't know if it means you'll be able to fight it once a day or you'll be able to beat it once a day. So yeah, that remains to be seen.
And also in the press event, they kind of dealt with the new story stages and got to basically fight the Wyvern, like Aaron was saying. And it seems like at PAX they were trying to do the same thing. It broke my heart when someone was playing the Revenant and people were already saying, you should switch back to this is how you play. I was like, no one has played this character. Like, and they're probably just playing, they're trying it out. They're just goofing around.
Yeah, like literally all that is like, well, you have a hammer and Jalis had a hammer, so you should probably go back to Jalis.
That is racist against dwarves.
I know, right? Dude, screw that person in Twitch chat.
There's a point in time where like a stream has chat going, and if it updates too quickly, I just don't even bother. Like I collapse the chat, and I think I just kind of ignored a lot of what was going on yesterday and just watched people play. I think I even had it muted for a large part of the time just to see how people were messing around with the Revenant, and I don't think it, like, we can't even say what's going to be what right now because we only have seen three trait lines.
Well, and from all the Revenant footage that's existed, are you guys interested in the Revenant? I mean, still not knowing a lot of it. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I'm totally up for playing a new character, a new class. I mean, I've got all the other ones to 80. I'm going to get this one to 80 probably like day one for tome stacking. But I like the mechanics they've got so far for the other classes. So
no, not interested in the Revenant. Dumb. No, of course
I'm interested in the blindfold.
Are you insane? Dude, it's the new profession. I'm crazy about the Revenant. It's going to be amazing.
Oh yeah, we will have to create 3 separate Revenants and use get the blindfold you want on the last one so you can unlock all the skins.
Well, I mean, one of them's like spiky visor thing.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm going to unlock it anyway.
Yeah, I got to do it.
It's necessary.
And those are going to be heavy too, so you can wear that on your warrior or your guardian. That's kind of weird.
They'll definitely be interesting. A lot of winged, blindfolded people, and we'll probably get to wings and stuff a little bit later.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many Revenants with those wings.
But during the press event, there was, I think, a little bit of talk about Strongholds. I don't think they're playable, not even at PAX right now. But like, what kind of information did they give us, at least for Strongholds? Anything new that we can sink our teeth into?
I did. Wooden Potatoes did say that
the only.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're in.
Okay. Okay, but no, I did find it funny that Wooden Potatoes made a comment of the devs actually kind of pushed them to go find the enemy team to fight them, because apparently one of the issues they were having is people were just running for supply, running back, and just pushing their lane. And there was very minimal interaction, and I got a laugh out of that, and that was...
Well, maybe that's a problem with the game mode right now. Maybe the most optimal way to play it is without really interacting with the other team, which is a problem. So maybe they need to make some tweaks.
Well, that would... Honestly, if I like the fact that trebuchets are hard to aim, like an actual trebuchet would be, but that's half the time I get into, Battle of Kylo? PvP. Half the time, I don't see people use the trebuchet, and I'm terrible with it, so I don't use it because I don't want to be gimping my team not fighting and not helping cap and defend points. But whenever I see someone get on a treb and they're good with it, it does a lot of work. So I can only imagine that it would be more widely used if it wasn't a push button and hold and then release after you gauge things. But some kind of better siege mechanic might help a little better, and maybe some other form of forced interaction, like another way to gain supply, because right now it's that center area with those two piles, and if there was some other kind of deeper supply depot that the enemy team could access that is in your side, that would probably work a little better. Like if the team objects mingled a little more in the center.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I know you were raring to go beforehand.
What you were saying with the Trebs and Kylo, how you never see people using them, I'm pretty sure when you watch PvP, I don't watch PvP like any of the tournaments, but from what I've heard, when you see it at a high level, the teams definitely use the Trebs because they really actually help. But the thing that I thought was interesting was we've known for a while that they're going to be queuing Stronghold with Deathmatch and Conquest. Like you're going to have that map chooser, and you could potentially vote for the Stronghold map if you wanted to. I was watching the interview that the YouTuber Angry Joe did with Colin Johansson, and he actually asked about the queuing, and Colin said that while the queuing is integrated right now, they're actually considering separating it because that seems to be where the feedback is leaning, is putting a separate queue for Stronghold and a separate queue for Conquest. And the reason I bring it up is because I actually agree with this. Stronghold looks like something that I might potentially be interested in as a person who isn't interested in PvP. I really like WW, and Stronghold seems more my cup of tea in that sense. So if I'm going in to play some Stronghold, I don't want to end up playing Conquest. Like, I'm going to leave if I get stuck in a Conquest map when I wanted to go play Stronghold. So I definitely think they should queue these separately.
And I think that's definitely the important thing is just from these interviews, maybe hit the forums, let them know. And if you get into closed beta or if they do an open beta, which we'll talk about, definitely, it sounds like they're definitely wanting to listen, and it's definitely smart on their part to kind of give people what they want so they play.
I kind of hope that if they do set it up into a different queue, that they set up a deathmatch queue separately as well. Because whenever there have been times where I've voted for Courtyard just because I didn't really feel like doing Conquest and I just felt like shooting people. So, in-game.
It's always important.
Yeah.
I never queue Courtyard because the teams just end up zerging around, and I'm like,
yeah.
Well, that's a deathmatch.
Yeah, and it's a deathmatch. So sometimes you just want that. A lot of the times I play Conquest, but they need more. Like, there's one deathmatch map, and there is one Stronghold map. If they're going to do a separate queue, I think they need more than one map.
And chat does bring up a good point. Now, do you think this would lessen the blow if they had the template feature enabled? Which, for people that don't know templates in general, it's just basically a way to save your different varied builds and possibly gear. It depends on what game's doing it, but Guild Wars 1 I've always liked Guild Wars 1's template system because if you would go to certain sites, you could actually save like a chat code thing that you could put into your file, and it would generate all the skills. That way you didn't have to go to if you were looking up builds, you didn't have to be like, all right, I want this one and I need my points there. You could just put in that code. I don't know if they're going to do that with templates if or when they do it. They've kind of teased that they want to do templates eventually, but do you think this would lessen that blow of everybody it all in one queue?
I would definitely say yes.
Why? What does that have to do with the queue?
Well, it's not so much with the queue, is it would make it easier in that minute before the match starts when you get in, that you can just go, oh, I'm going to go in my, I'm playing my, Ranger, and you have your deathmatch, your Conquest, and your Stronghold build. If, you get that specific with it, and you just say, click, done in that minute before the match actually starts. Whereas right now, if you were to have separate builds for those 3 maps and they were all in the same queue, you would have to remember, okay, I need these traits, I need these traits, I need this amulet, I need these weapons. So with a template, you just click, done. Otherwise, it takes a lot more clicking and memorization and everything.
So templates would make PvP overall a better experience for everyone, but it would only make the queuing, the integrated queuing, less painful for people who don't
wanted
really
to play all of them.
Yeah,
right?
who don't really care about which type they're playing. I don't care if we can template or not. If I want to play Stronghold and they stick me in Conquest because I got outvoted, I'm going to leave. Like, this is what's going to happen. So
I've never actually left a match. Do you have a queue penalty for that?
Probably. I don't think they want you leaving matches, but I would if I didn't want to play Conquest.
Yeah, I think they've implemented a penalty for that now.
Because
honestly, if people complaining, like being DC'd about it. And
if they implement templates in PvP, I would love to see them implement templates in PvE and WW as well. Because
I was gonna say. Okay.
No, I was just I wouldn't mind carrying around an extra set of gear in my bag so I could just go click, and it just equips everything for me and changes my traits and everything.
And chat saying it's Dishonor because I thought it was Deserter, but I think that was WoW. So
yeah, that was WoW.
So yeah, either way you're getting dissed. Yeah, ultimately I'd like to definitely see separate queues because maybe you're going in and you're like, you know what, I just want to bash people's heads in. So let me just do Conquest matches. Now, hopefully, this leads them to maybe doing a couple more maps for a different selection. But for right now, I bet people would be fine if it's just a Conquest queue playing Courtyard over and over. I mean, they're probably not going to care too much. Eventually, they'll probably want more maps. And same with Strongholds, and we have plenty of the Domination ones. But I probably would agree with chat. Like, yeah, I'd like to see templates just so there's templates. If they want to use that as the excuse, great, fine, whatever. I just want templates. However we get them.
I like how. I was just going to point out that Roy, our 4th host, is in chat. He made it late. He had as John said earlier, he had a prior engagement, unfortunately.
Everybody point and laugh.
Hi, Roy.
But like I said, ultimately it sounds like Arena is listening to people's responses on, like, maybe even say, like, I saw the Angry Joe interview when you guys were talking. I would prefer it to be, separate queues, whatnot. Just, it sounds like they're listening on the forums, so definitely go check them out. And, speaking of forums, you know what else has forums? GameBreakerNation.com. Yeah, that's right. It's time for our plug. See how I brought all that back? Yeah. But for some people that don't know, the community that we're a part of is Game Breaker Nation. It's not just the Guild Wars 2 guild. We have Elder Scrolls Online, Final Fantasy XIV, Minecraft, World of Warcraft, both Horde and Alliance, Star Citizen. We're kind of like getting an Elite Dangerous group up and running. Like, I've seen loads of people in there. So if you're a fan of games in general, maybe you like to hop around, maybe you stick to one game. I mean, I primarily stick to Guild Wars 2. I know a lot of us do. Or if you just hop around, this is the perfect place to go. So head on over to GameBreakerNation.com, sign on up, join a great community. Never have to worry about finding all those new people. We find them for you. It's So honestly, head over there, sign up, you know. And oh, chat. I don't know if Roy's saying in chat, getting better. Nice job. Are my transitions that bad?
Abrupt sometimes, but not
Yeah,
bad.
you know.
Like you said, getting better, not bad.
Speaking of getting better, PAX. There we go. Back to the old crap.
That is getting better. I'll have to give you that.
But you know, literally right now going on. I think right now is the, but don't turn away, is the PvP finals. But PAX is going on, and have they really released a lot of information for PAX East? I mean, what are you guys' thoughts?
So I know there's a playable demo, and I know it was pretty much more or less the same stuff that the press got earlier in the week. I think they had a few people. A few people were able to stream it to their Twitch accounts, them playing the new event, and I think at the PAX as well they were locked to Revenant. I'm not sure if that was different than at the press thing, but I think everyone's still playing Revenant at PAX.
It looked similar, and I think someone said they had the option to. I just don't know if it was you could see all the characters, and like maybe you click on them, it was like locked. But people were saying, I think there was one streamer that did say they could have played an Elementalist if they wanted to, but I don't know. It looked like it was the same one where you could only play.
And if it was the same thing, because in Wooden Potatoes video, it was he could click on all of the classes, but I don't know if like the next button or it said locked or what have you on the character creation.
Because I saw when they showed the character select screen for when someone new was playing, it showed all the races, but or all the professions, but I don't know if they went that step further. So, but like I said, I think it looked exactly like the press one they had last week. So I don't think you were able to play anything other than Revenant, and for the same reasons that we said before, like seeing the other specializations and whatnot. But oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was also saying there was the fan party they had for the game as well. Fans were able to go interact with the devs and things like that. It was pretty cool.
Well, I was gonna say on the lines of like I think it was just Friday where they were like giving all the different streamers that were at PAX an hour to stream from Gamebreaker, Guild Wars 2's Twitch page. Or do you think that was a cool thing they did? Like, do you want them to maybe do more of those? Like, I know some places, I think Tryon, actually, like on Fridays when they do their own show, like for their other games, sometimes they'll actually host a, like a newer or an established streamer that they have for their game. Would you want to see Guild Wars 2 possibly do that, or?
Only if they're hosting us. Only if they're hosting us.
Yeah.
Just the deadpan that you delivered that with was that was something special. I think
it's not
great.
Egotistical or anything. That's
no, not at all. No, anytime a company looks to foster more community, like to foster the community. I'm losing my train of thought here. Anytime the developer is taking a direct hand in increasing the community of their game. I mean, heck, Riot has done a ton. I play a lot of League of Legends, and Riot has done a ton of work in getting esports out there. And I think it's like they host a show for fan creations. They host, I don't know if they host other streamers, but I know that they do a lot for heck, the creative director looks at stuff and is like, I love that fan art. That might become a skin later. So if ArenaNet starts doing the same thing with Guild Wars 2, I mean, I don't know if people design like weapon and armor sets on DeviantArt and like post it to their Twitter account, but if the art director at ArenaNet starts going, hey, I like that, you might see that in the Black Lion store later.
I was gonna say the interesting thing was I don't think they did at the beginning, because I know they did like a Halloween just art contest, but in Guild Wars 1 they actually had a weapon contest where players got to if you wanted to, you could design a weapon, and I think they implemented three or I think they implemented a couple. I mean, they took the ones they liked, and I think they even had some people vote on them. But yeah, I definitely would like to see that return. I mean, that was awesome, especially for the people that got to make them. I mean,
the one I always remember from that contest is the Draconic Aegis, because that was like the coolest shield in Guild Wars 1. Oh man, I wish they had that skin in Guild Wars 2. It was so good.
See, look, it was a fan-made one, and Aaron still remembers it. I definitely would like to see a return of it, and I mean, especially with like Twitter and all the social medias, they do their own show on Fridays. They could easily throw those up there. It would be awesome to see those again.
That looks pretty cool. I just pulled that up on the wiki.
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty cool looking. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. They should definitely bring back the design in-game asset contest. That was awesome.
I mean, that just makes the sky's the limit, especially if they let people know ahead of time. It's like, these are going to go in game. Well, the ones they select. I mean, like I said, I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. I've seen it suggested before, but maybe there's some kind of new legal issue or whatever.
I mean, it definitely is something that would help foster a lot more involvement in the game. Like the people who are artists that create stuff, they would feel a lot more immersed in the creative process. They would feel a lot more tied to the artwork of the game if they looked at something and said, one of the other players designed that, or I designed that. And heck, I mean, they could even put that in their portfolio. They might not be able to claim any like legal funds to it, but it's like, yeah, I won that contest. I designed that thing. So
yeah.
that's if a major video game company looks at your art and says, yeah, I like that, I would definitely say that that's probably a good thing to be able to put on a resume.
Yeah, I definitely think it'd be something great for them.
But you have
go ahead.
You have a point about the legal issues too, in that in this day and age of this is my copyright and this is my copyright, no, we're disputing it. Like, so much of that happens now that I can definitely see them being worried about that.
Well, the only thing is anytime a contest happens like that, the disclaimer is literally like, if we select this, you can't claim any copyright over it.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, yes, I designed this, but you can't claim any funds off of it or anything. And I think like one of those things would be like, we're going to add the skin to your account, considering the wardrobe thing is like, that would probably be one of the best things to do, is when we design this, you get it. So, but that would be something that could be taken care of very quickly and easily.
And chat's saying that there were actually 15 weapons put into the game through these design contests. So yeah, I knew it was a lot. I just didn't want to say too many, but it's a good sized chunk. I mean,
23. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's even chat's correcting themselves. So it's 23. Please do not give another number. But also in PAX, they've actually, just before the PvP finals, the Hounds of Balthazar going off. That's not what they announced. They announced the new trailer for the Borderlands. Now, it wasn't playable at PAX. I think they're saving that for Res, which is next week. But we have the video that was put up real quick, I believe, by
Dolphy.
Dolphy? Okay. So
Dolphy.
Yeah, Dolphy. So here's the trailer for the Borderlands map.
She got this up like literally 5 minutes after it aired.
And I definitely want to know what you guys think about it. And chat, so get ready to start typing.
I'm gonna want to see like the mechanics and the like an actual playthrough of this, but like this looks pretty epic.
Well, like I said, they're definitely going to be planning on doing that, I believe, next week at Res.
It's extremely vertical. It's much higher in scale than any of the other dub maps we currently have. Like, Edge of the Mist is multi-layered, but it's not as high up as this.
There are certain areas of Edge of the Mist that are vertical, but this is like, I was just looking at some of those staircases, and man, like if you've got two Zergs going at each other and one holds the high ground on those stairs, you better go around, because there's no way you're getting up those stairs.
Yeah. And if you saw in that closer to last shot there, they had the wind gusts that'll push you off the walkway. I like that.
I'm okay with more map. I'm okay with more map hazards.
Oh yeah,
that's if you are able to use the terrain to your advantage, then more power to you, because that's part of army combat is you have to use the terrain to your advantage, like I was saying about holding the high ground on those stairs. But
it's one of the things that makes for those cool moments when you're playing with your friends that you talk about.
I was gonna say those definitely cool videos that you can see like on YouTube where, like when Edge of the Mist came out, you have a Zerg going across those bridges, and people are like, "All right, blow up the bridges," and just watching the Zerg fall. Like, I mean,
or the concentrated like necromancer fear wall efforts. It's like just watch the entire Zerg just kind of jump to their death.
Chat's saying, they're glad that they're changing the Borderlands old maps. Are they? I thought they were only like rotating them like out. Like I didn't think they were gone for good. I mean,
no, they're definitely not gone for good. There may have been some mention in an interview somewhere. I doubt it, because they're probably saving it for Res. Like you said, they're gonna do a big expose on WW at Res. But they said it's going to be in the rotation of WW maps. They haven't really explicitly stated how. So are they going to nix the old Borderlands maps? No, they're not going to do that.
I kind of wish they would.
Yeah, they are kind of boring now, aren't they?
Yeah. Like, I understand.
They're there. Like, what if
they've been there from the beginning, but
every 6 months or...
But I like what Aaron said earlier is they're flat.
Yeah.
They're not very dynamic. There's not really much room for tactical movement on them because people will see you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is either we get the normal Borderlands maps and this comes in as a thing similar to Eternal Battlegrounds where it's just a single instance, or depending on the week, we might get the normal Borderlands maps 1 week across all the servers, and then we might get this new one week across all the servers, and it changes on a weekly basis. Could be every other week or something like that.
Chat's just saying that they were happy that they're making changes to the maps. All right. But yeah, definitely, just so everybody knows, I don't think we're getting rid of the old ones. It's just a different rotation. And like Aaron's saying, we don't know the rotation. Could be 6 months, could be monthly, could be yearly. I mean, what kind of rotation do you guys want to see? Like,
either weekly or bi-weekly.
Oh, sorry, Aaron.
Oh,
weekly or bi-weekly?
I'd say weekly or bi-weekly.
I want the old maps gone. Like just from that trailer, I kind of want the old maps replaced. Just because I don't like and I've been running around in them a lot because I was helping my wife get world completion, and
that's love right there.
Yeah. Well, I'm also helping her farm for her precursor too, so there's that. But yeah, we don't have the funds that Aaron does. But no, I was running around and they're all literally the same thing. There's some minor differences between the 3 Borderlands maps, but they're all effectively the same thing. Everything's in the same location, and I kind of get why that is, because it's meant to be
fair.
Yeah, it's meant to be fair, and I'm okay with that. But they're, like I said before, they're flat, so it literally becomes zerging. And like I said a few episodes ago, anything that improves the ability of Havoc squads, I am perfectly okay with, because small skirmish teams that take objectives behind the main army, I think that's probably a fantastic thing to enable. And these new maps with being more vertical seems to be enabling you to go through tunnels and under bridges and take different routes that would completely avoid enemy players. Just seems to be a much better idea to me.
So
yeah,
like you just want them gone for good.
Whatever announcements they make at Res.
Yeah, like, so I guess we're looking forward to Res, and that's next week. And leading into that, they've also announced a closed beta for Heart of Thorns and signups.
Where's that button?
Yeah,
I signed up.
Yeah, and basically for people who don't know, they said they're going to start looking at the idea of closed betas sometime after Res, which will be next week, as we stated. The way they're doing it is you have to subscribe to the Heart of Thorns newsletter, and not just the Guild Wars 2 one, but make sure you go to their expansion page and subscribe to that newsletter. So, and of course, as always, this is going to be like a supposedly random thing, so there's no guarantees of getting in. I mean, I know for us, fingers crossed, hopefully at least one of us gets in so we can talk about it. Because the big thing is, they talk about it in there. No NDA, nothing like that, so people can talk about their experiences, how they feel about it. What do you guys think about that with the closed beta, no NDA?
So it's interesting because they haven't stated in the closed beta what we're going to be able to play. Like, will we be able to play the other professions and discover the other specializations and talk about those, or will we be locked to revenants in the, in the closed beta? Who knows?
And it might be done in stages, because if people remember the were the open beta or closed beta, they were like, oh, Sylvari, I think it was Sylvari weren't playable yet. Well, they had like races that weren't done yet so it might be that stance where it's like these are locked,
Yeah, the Sylvari didn't come out until the final, or either the second to last or the final beta weekend, I think.
I'm honestly just hoping that it's an actual beta, because more and more I came from playing a lot of World of Warcraft. The PTR for World of Warcraft just felt more and more like a marketing scheme. Like, that people were getting early access, but it was nigh done anyway. And like the betas for access, like I know if you pre-ordered Mists of Pandaria when it came out, you got beta access. And I played a little bit of it because I pre-ordered it, but it didn't feel like it was a beta. Like, it felt like it was a finished game. It didn't feel like anything was being tested. So it just feels more and more like companies are using the word beta as a early marketing scheme for anything. Because go ahead.
I was like, I definitely got that feeling when they said no NDA. It's like, you can talk about it. It's like, it does feel like that. I mean,
well,
a little bit.
They've actively stated, I think, like with a couple of the streamers from the press event and from yesterday, that there are things that are problematic. There are things you can't do that are very apparent. Like when they were talking about the story in the instance where you were talking to Larenthir and then there was a Char lieutenant and you could either pick one or the other, and the option that with the Char lieutenant to just leave the Sylvari soldiers and book it out of the area was disabled at that time. So very clearly there's something disabled that is very apparent. It's not like this is minor bug fixing time. This is an actual beta. There is stuff not done. So I like that, and I hope that's how it stays, and that they try to do like focused beta stuff instead of do whatever you want. Because
yeah, and that's why I think they'll go the route that they, like I was talking about before, where the Sylvari wasn't in the game yet. And like some of the certain areas weren't in game type of thing. So just to hone people in, so they have all their testers in one spot or one thing. I honestly, I'm looking forward to that little box after every event where it's like, rate this event, rate this experience, 1 to 5. How does it feel? Like that was after every event during the betas. So like, who knows how much they looked at all of them, I think a lot of people just were like skip. Yeah, it was a little box in the corner. You could hit, skip or whatever, like not do it. But I always felt like I wanted to help out.
You were in the beta, you may as well, right?
Yeah, and sometimes there were bugs in events, but
dude, if I get into that beta, it's gonna ruin my life. Like, I'm not gonna go to work. I'm not gonna go to school.
So you're gonna tell your the publishers over at Guildmax, sorry guys, closed beta, can't write anymore.
Yeah, right when they're gonna be like, hey, can you report on? I'm like, no, I gotta play. I can't be bothered with being out of game. Are you crazy?
Can't write an article about this. Gotta play.
But you'll still have time for talking Skritt, right?
No, I won't. I'll be taking a hiatus.
I'm not even gonna be optimistic about that. If he gets in, he's gone.
Yeah.
I will. I will have Arena come get you and plop you in front and literally set everything up, and you're just sitting here tied up like.
You're gonna hire Colin Johansson
Yeah.
to spirit me away from my home.
Yep.
He's huge. He could do it. He could easily overpower me. He's like 7 feet tall.
I won't lie. He just grant you and be like, get in that chair. You'd be like, all right.
That's true. The power of his smile is
He's mesmerizing. He is what a mesmer was fashioned after.
Definitely.
But yeah, so definitely sign up for the beta. Let's quickly talk about something that's actually in the game currently, and that's the gem store. They kind of put things in this past week. It seemed like leading up to PAX, but I think it was a way for them to. What am I?
Drum up sales real quick.
Well, they said that they were gonna come back. These are just things that were ahead of time, and some of the stuff was the black wings, which a lot of people, I think we talked about last week.
Oh my God!
Interested in the golden pig, which I got. The Nomad's outfit, the Crystal Nomad's outfit.
And the confetti mail courier.
Yeah, which I know Aaron got.
Yeah.
Let's not get back into that.
Well, but I mean, I think that was the fourth, like all 4 things. How many out of the 4 things, if you want to say, did you guys get? I mean,
I got the wings. I bought a set for myself and my wife. I wanted to get the Crystal Nomad's outfit, but that was the day before payday, and there were bills that needed paid. So I'm gonna have to wait for that to come back out. But
that brings up something that kind of annoyed me. The wings, I bought the wings. They were on a 24-hour like out of the blue sale, and I didn't have any money. And I knew that there's many other poor college students like me who don't have any money. So I was like, thanks, ArenaNet. Thanks for screwing the people who get paid in like 2 days. That's cool. So I spent gold on the wings. And because everyone wanted these wings, they were like really expensive in gold because it jacked the exchange rate up. But I got the wings with gold. I didn't buy any of the other stuff. Funny story about the wings. I was really excited about these. I was like, oh, I have to have these on my necro. I have to have them. Got them, wore them for about a day, and I went back to my holographic dragon wing cover because it's better.
I was gonna say, chat. What we're talking about, I want to see like out of the 4 items, how many did you guys get? Like 3 out of 4, 1 out of 4, 0 out of 4, all 4. But
you just want to hear people say they bought the.
Huh?
You're cutting out.
You just
Aaron.
want to hear people say they bought. Oh, I am.
Yeah.
I was saying, Deo just wants to hear people say they bought the mail carrier.
I wish you could have gifted those. I probably would have gifted it to you.
I think you can.
No, any
you
account
can't gift.
upgrades
Oh,
are
okay.
giftable, like finishers and whatnot. But
He tried.
yeah. Well, I looked into it. I don't know. I don't know if our friendship's 300 gems.
Oh.
It's a lot
Damn.
more.
Burn, man. I don't know. Like I still I'm kind of meh on the mail carriers. If people like them, they like them. If they don't, you don't have to even look at them or even see them. Apparently, even the carrier pigeons.
Yeah, I bought the wings, the golden pig, of course, and I bought the Crystal Nomad outfit. The mail carrier I just passed on. I've said before, that's not my cup of tea. So, but
What was it? It was your complaint about the wings again, Aaron?
They're too stiff, too static. They feel like a stage prop in a high school play. There's no, like, I'm not asking them to flap or anything. There's just no organic movement to them. They don't feel organic. They feel like I tacked them on, like I taped them to my back with Scotch tape. That's kind of my issue with them.
Like there's no alternate animation stuff
Yeah.
whenever you're in combat or something.
They're much too stiff for me. I much prefer the holographic dragon wing cover because it's not because it flaps. It's because when it flaps, the wings, like, they have their own little movement animations that go along with the flap.
I think that's why on my elementalist I use the dynamic spinal blades, the blue ones, because they move. Like the spinal blade pack like you can actually see them articulating, and it's something I really like from a lot of the back items that they've been adding that are more wing-like, is that they seem like they're actually doing something. So I can understand that. The wings kind of move up and down a bit, but that's really all they do. So it looks like it's just kind of following the natural movement of your back as you're moving around.
And chat saying, like, one person saying 0 out of 4, nothing really grabbed them. I mean, understandable. I know a lot of people weren't into, like, the wings, and if you're not into mini pets or outfits, because outfits are all or nothing thing, which is disappointing.
Okay,
someone's also saying they would buy a mail carrier if they had a dragon one. I mean, would there be something to make you buy a mail carrier? Like, what would the theme have to be?
I'm
The
honestly
dragon.
Oh, go ahead.
The dragon would have to be freaking huge. It would have to be huge.
The griffin one is fairly sizable. I mean, that's like bigger than a mini pet. I mean, it's not like a full-size griffin bringing you your mail, but it's fairly sizable when it comes in. The dragon, I'm honestly surprised that it'd be kind of nice if they would have introduced a Lunar New Year one, like if they would have brought a goat mail carrier instead of just a red
envelope carrier or something.
I kind of wish they would have just had a goat bring you your mail.
Or their favorite animal llamas. I mean,
I'm honestly surprised there's no llama animal carrier.
Give it time. They're probably designing, like, what can we make the llama do?
Why? I never understood why llamas.
Okay.
Just
they're just the
llamas.
They're the internet mascot of trolling.
I was unaware of that, but okay.
But I mean, how do you guys feel about this 24-hour sale? And they have said in the post about it that these are just early releases for them, that they are going to make a return at some point. But I do have to warn people, aviators, sunglasses, but they are saying that these ones are making returns. So
as long as they explicitly state that the items are coming back, because like Aaron said, there are people who would gladly give ArenaNet money, but they need to eat.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where this is a great tactic to drum up like quick sales, but it's nice to know that they're bringing it back, because I wanted the Crystal Nomad outfit, but I kind of needed lunch for the next day.
Yeah.
You could have bought that off the trading post. There's a lot of cooking stuff on there, right?
I can't eat that. My characters can eat that. I can't.
Oh yeah.
Can't live on pixels.
Sure you can. But yeah, I don't know, the 24-hour sale,
It annoyed me.
yeah, I was a little not a fan of it. But let's talk about something that it seems like is coming in there. It seems like it sounds like the patch coming up this Tuesday, which gives us the first-person camera view, which we talked about last episode. It is, what confused me, the beta streaming client, which makes it sound like you're able to stream the game from inside, like there's actual setup for it. What it really is if you've played World of Warcraft, or a lot of the Blizzard games now do it. I think a lot of the Trion games do it now, like Rift, Trove, and all them. There's probably loads out there they're doing now. But it will download the essential files for these new players, or if you're on a new computer, and allow you to continue to download while you're playing these to like the starter areas, like the beginning zones. I mean, what do you think this is a good change? Do you think this was a waste of resources, or?
No, I don't think it's a waste of resources. I think it's something that's fairly easy to do. I mean, players figured out. I don't think ArenaNet ever officially announced how to do this in Guild Wars 1, but players just figured it out. If you added a little dot something after one of the files, I forget which one it was, you could achieve the same thing where your game would load all the files while you're playing for other areas of the game. So I don't even know that this is something that necessarily took development time. They simply needed to add it in as a feature. So it doesn't bother me. It's just what bothers me, like you said, is that they named the article on their website Beta Streaming Client. Up until 2 hours ago, I thought this meant we were going to be able to stream, because I skimmed the article. I didn't actually read that much of it because I didn't care about streaming that much. So because I'm just on the show. I don't actually stream playing the game because I'm not entertaining. But so yeah, up till 2 hours ago, I literally thought this meant that we would be able to toggle a stream from in game. And then
But Aaron, you opened a chest, and then you opened another chest. That's incredibly entertaining.
I know, right? And then John was like, "Dude, no, that's not what this is at all." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And my mind was blown. I was like, "Why would you call it that? There's so many other things you could call it."
Well, that's what it is. I mean, it's not streaming in, what it is that we're doing right now, but it is, a streaming client. That's a technical definition, just, a different way to. It's not the definition that everybody jumped on in the first place.
But most people are laymen's like me when it comes to technical terminology, so they should keep that in mind when they're posting on their website.
And especially nowadays in video game culture, if you're saying streaming, I think a lot more people are going to jump to something else before that. But
I mean, even your dogs knew about it.
But most people will read the full article, unlike me.
Well, and like in the article, they say once this is released, just go to your Guild Wars 2 shortcut and add - streaming client, all one word, and that's supposedly how it's going to enable it.
And I kind of agree with you, Aaron, that it's probably something that didn't take a whole lot of development time, but this is something that you want to be able to bug test internally. That it's not really a huge change by itself in code, but it's something that can impact everything you do in a game. So it's something that they would have wanted to actually have time for, and they were probably spending a lot of time working on Heart of Thorn's system code for the people who would be working on the client. Like all the back-end designers were probably all working on like upgraded systems, because I know that on Points of Interest and Ready, they were talking about a lot of systems upgrades that they were going through. And then this is probably something that they've had on their boards for a while now, and they're just like, we should do that. And they did it. So
And
I mean, it's really just
perfect timing. I mean,
well, that, and I mean, I recently reformatted my PC here, and I remember re-downloading Guild Wars 2, and it was massive. Like, I have 75 internet, and it took me a good hour and a half, if I remember right, and that's sizable. So honestly, I kind of wish they would, and it seems that this is getting more towards how things worked in Guild Wars 1, where you didn't actually download the files until you zoned into an area that needed them. It's just now it's happening in the background.
That dreaded first download.
Yeah, that dreaded first download. You first zone into Lion's Arch pre-searing, or not Lion's Arch, into Ascalon City pre-searing, and it's just like
20,000 files. And yeah, like I said, you could achieve this in Guild Wars 1 by adding a little dot, whatever, after one of the files under the directory. But it was never something fully supported by ANET, I don't think. I think it was just something players either data mined or figured out or something like that.
And chat's asking about multiple versions of the same maps. I don't believe that's what this is meaning. It's mainly just, it's going to initially, like it's assuming that if you're downloading it, you're probably a new character or a new player. So it's going to initially try to give you, it's prioritizing these files in a way. Like, it's going to try to give you those starting zones like first, so you can play it while you're downloading the rest.
Or even, like, let's say you start a new account, you get a fresh install, you get to you do a quick download like you do right now, but it's a fraction of what it is, and you hop in and you create any one of the starter characters. The first assets it's going to load are the maps and creature models and everything and dialogue for the opening mission, for the opening instance that you do. So it's the Defense of Shaymore if you're a human. It's the assault on the tombs if you're a char, stuff like that. Those are the first assets that the game is going to load, and it's the client is going to assume that you're not immediately going to like zone to Lion's Arch. But it depends on what you're doing, but basically, and then in the background while you're playing that opening thing, it's going to be downloading all of the other game assets, so that you'll have more, like, it'll be running in the background, building out the rest of the world in your files, and then you'll be able to, play more and get in faster and all that good stuff.
And honestly, I think this is just a way. It's like another hurdle. Like if you get like a new person that just bought the game or something, to, oh, I have to sit here and wait and watch this progress bar. I mean, we've all had to do it, but it's one less hurdle. And they're also introduced, like, this weekend only, even a better lessening of a hurdle. The game currently is 75% off until March 8th, which will be Sunday. At the time of this podcast being live, you pretty much have a day left. If you have a friend that was on the fence, tell them to pick it up. It's literally $10 for the regular version, $15 for the digital deluxe. And also, if you're a player that only bought the regular version in the gem store, the digital deluxe upgrade is also 75% off. So normally 2,000 gems, 500 gems. If you were ever thinking about getting it, go and pick it up. I mean, it's well worth 10 or 15 bucks. I mean, there's a lot of games on Steam that are 15 bucks that.
Considering we all paid 50 for it, so yeah.
Yeah, but it's also been 2 years. But it's a tremendous offer, 75% off. I mean, now this doesn't include the expansion or anything since we don't even know the date, but definitely, if you have a friend that's on the fence, this is the perfect time to even get them in. And apparently, once Tuesday rolls around, they can start playing just like that. I mean,
and honestly, I'm going to say the digital deluxe edition. If anything, getting the Mistfire Wolf as the free elite skill off of it, I honestly like the ability. It's useful. Like, you can actually get something in game out of it. I mean, it's not super crazy amazing, but it's useful, and especially if you don't have the immediate 10 skill points to drop on an elite skill, it's nice for getting that as kind of a bonus for all the extra stuff you get along with the digital deluxe edition.
Yeah, it's something to slot if you don't have the skill points available once you hit the requisite level for elites, which I don't even know what that is anymore since I've never played the MPE. M31.
31.
So they bumped it up one level for the MPE.
Yeah, they have to unlock traits. Your traits unlock at level 30. Come on, man.
I've never played the MPE. All my characters are created before it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, for people wondering, that's new player experience.
We like to shorten it because we don't like to talk about it.
I don't want to say all those syllables. You crazy?
I don't know.
Don't worry, we're not going to make you talk anymore because we are running out of time. We'll probably hang around in the chat afterwards and talk. I don't believe had any Twitter questions today, so if you want to send us a question and you can't make the live show or whatnot, send it to or tweet it at us at #TalkingSkrit, just like the show title. So just all one word because it's the internet. And I would like to thank each of my guests. And Aaron, where can you be found?
You can go over to guildmag.com to read my stuff. I put out, I think it was 3 things. I wrote 3 things this week. Proud of myself.
Gasp.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter at Guild Wars Monk, so check both of those things out.
And Jim, where can they find you on the internet?
I can be found at Malthanis MMO on Twitter. And I don't write for Guild Mag because honestly I think I'm a terrible writer. So
I like Deo's little groan there. Oh,
that's a shame. But you can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, simply_Deo. I've been trying to stream more. I think last week I actually started streaming the Dragon Ball Xenoverse stuff. And if you want to watch me be bad at games, by all means go for it. But
hey Deo, what's the scouter say about his power level?
It is a golden pig, and that's the only thing over 9,000.
I don't think that's how the line goes.
I don't care. That's the new line. They've asked me to come and dub it in. But for people watching the VOD, you can always tune in Saturdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And for anybody here, if you want to continue the conversation with people that are watching on YouTube, go to just search us Talking Skritt, and you can find us there. And you can find all of us at GameBreakerNation.com. We're not just a Guild Wars 2 guild. We have League of Legends, Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls Online. I know they're changing over to buy to play soon. New systems sound pretty cool. If you're ever an Elder Scrolls fan in general, they're putting in a lot of the stealing mechanics and stuff like that. Definitely check it out. World of Warcraft, Star Citizen. I talked about Elite Dangerous. We kind of bumped that up to like an official state. Minecraft community. Just the list keeps growing with members like you. So head on over to GameBreakerNation.com, sign up, and we will see you in the game. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.